Welcome back, OSL, to game two on our lovely Saturday. Week one of OSL season four. Crazy to actually be saying that out loud, but we did have two newcomers to the competition. Fogbound, which is a team formerly known as Decay and Torment, I believe, and they've come together. I believe it's all under one group anyway, but they've come together to make Fogbound. And Pay Money to My Pain, which other than having like the toughest name I've ever heard, is very very new to the scene as well. I haven't really seen too much about them. I know they're in Premium League, but nah, it should be good. Bit of issues getting a couple of the teams into the VC, but I think we're here to good to go, Corey. But nah, Buller, yeah, I don't know too much about these teams, Buller. I don't know if you know anything too noteworthy about them, but I know the only player I really know out of all this is probably Jen and Lemon. I know Lemon was on a sentence for a little bit, and I actually had the pleasure of playing against him in a separate tournament as well, where we were able to put up a good result against his unknown, but showed a bit of promise, but I'll be for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know much about Pay Money to My Pain. I know they're an SEA team. I don't know any of their players in particular. None of the names really stand out. Maybe a little bit from like other organizations, but I do know a little bit about Fogbound. I know they're a newer team, if you will, definitely coming from straight from the depths of the pubs. You've probably seen some of these familiar faces around in your public matches if you are in the OCE region. And yeah, like you said, just I know the names of Jen and the Lemon, and I do believe their only main as well. I do forgive me for forgetting the name, but definitely think we'll be remembering it after this matchup here. But moving more into the statistics side of things, it is again like very heavily favored in the side of Pay Money to My Pain. So maybe the community knows something that I don't. Not too sure. Hopefully, we can definitely still see a close matchup at the moment, as it is. I think 99% to Pay My Money to My Pain, Pay Money to My Pain, and 1% to Fogbound at the moment. But some strong sets here, as you do. We do have, yes, the Nurse coming up on Suffocation Pit 2, Oni on Cold Tower 1, and Ghoul on the Blood Lodge. So, maybe might get to a tiebreaker, maybe not. Again, it's just you can't really predict what's going to happen with these teams until they start playing. And like I said in the last series, that's what this season is all about. The first week especially, you'll be able to really depict what teams can do in their matches and really describe them in their future games. Just seeing it, being a part of the community and being involved in the game for so very long, it definitely gives you the ability to see which teams are experienced and which teams are inexperienced. Now, obviously, them joining just straight off the rip and not hearing who they are, it will just, fall into the category of being inexperienced. But, as a player, like you'll be able to see how they move, what decisions they make, how they, gel as a team, and all sorts of things like that to really make your decision on who they are and how they play, and then therefore, trying to place where they're going to place in the tournament. So, nevertheless, we're loading into the game. Yes, thank you on the nurse warning over. Now doing a little bit of a ping test and ping check, sorry, and I do believe that they are ready to go. So now we're double blinking all the way into the middle side of the map, but I do think that there might be some lobby issues at the moment. Just double checking the ping once more and just kind of stagnant in the middle of the map, but all seems pretty well at the moment. So I do say it's a stock standard start for the nurse on the Suffocation Pit 2. We're seeing some pretty good stealthing. I do say so for myself. We haven't caught anybody just rotating away from the spawn just yet. Maybe either they haven't really moved, or it's just, yeah, it's really good stealth from the side of our survivors here on a nurse set. I can't lie, but we have caught out one of our first survivors, which is Ania Jen, who will be faking the ins and outs and just just not really able to get through the pallet to get the stun or work something over in that corner and going down just before we're even able to touch one generator. So all things considered, not very good for the side of Fogbound, but hopefully once we get them off the hook, we can have an absolutely juicer chase on the nurse. And I do think, you know, when you see these SEA nurses roaming around, Jumps, you just know, like, straight off the rip when they're blinking and what they're doing, that, yeah, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's experienced.
Yeah, but couldn't have said it better. The SEA nurses is like almost like mythology in DBD. I'll be so honest. They are very, very sweaty. I saw that last last night with two teachers' performance as well. He was able to put a really good team up against the wall and back them into a really tight corner and get a really good result. We are gonna almost catch out. Lemon Tick here just hiding on the filler here, and we're able to get away. Jocks are filled if you are from the spectator slot with Piss, I'll be real. But we are something really close, which is kind of good actually, because I don't think he'll check this tile again. So this is actually really, really good for just Fogbound in general, because now they get free pressure. The bro sort of has to secure because he hasn't found the tunnel yet. We're actually going to be able to maybe get this for free. We are not actually. We do have the legacy weapon as well, by the way. That needs to be noted as well. What a awesome dude for that. That's pretty cool. But we are going to just take our chase all the way down. I believe this is the 3 side of the map, and I'm assuming the gens are getting worked down on that 7 to 9 side. We aren't going to make it very far, and I don't think that was even Deliverance. If we could maybe have a geese at the bloke that's left on the ground. Yeah, that's going to be Deliverance denied. That's tough, bro, and not a single gen is going to be popped as well. That's going to be hooked on an active as well, Hunter. So, problems. Very, very big problems so far. Maybe just a save coming in, but
nah, maybe I don't know. I just don't really agree with it. I think maybe even he might just keep them on the floor, because why would you leave? Why would you even bother picking up? You have one slug. Someone has to come in for the pull. At least, you know, the survivor on the floor, Lemon, is fully recovered. But yeah, like you said, no Deliverance. And I don't know if this is like a problem on the side of the builds. We do see Overcome Deliverance, Overcome Decisive Strike and Unbreakable. Sorry, you know. You do see Lithe DS, you do see Dead Hard DS, but Overcome DS, I'm not too sure I'm with it. I can't lie with you, but picking up the survivor over at the pallet there, and we're able to get out of that mess. But I do think this will spell the end for Gen, unfortunately, and we're just going to have to get some Gen pressure if we are to come back from this and give a chance for our killer over on the side of Fogbound to really match this win con that they're going to be given in the match. And we do see the reset happening over at 11. So yeah, I think the best bet is to get everybody healthy, probably let Gen die on the hook, because you know, those chases were a little too quick for our liking. We do have some generator progress in the background, okay. We do have one more popping. This isn't the worst thing in the world. So at the very worst, a 4K3, but we do spot Lemon just kind of in the middle over at the main side of the building, and we have let Gen die in the background. This is going to be the first tag after 2 blinks on the side of Thank You on tag onto Lemon, and Lemon's just going to rotate all the way down into the 11 corner, nice and far away from those generators, breaking away very nicely. Some nice camera movement here and nice line of sight breakage. We're going to be playing the locker, but Thank You reading straight through that and just blinking all the way and just downing Lemon right in the middle of main. I do believe that was our totem broken in the background as well. So that is Wretched Fate gone. We're going to be taking this hook over into the middle side of the map now. We're going to be going on a little bit of Gen Patrol straight after, I do believe. So this is very nice and central towards our generators. So 1 blink over at 1 generator, and then we fatigue. 1 blink to the next one, we fatigue. But we have caught someone who's just not pre-stealthing or pre-leaving at all. This is very aggressive. I don't really agree with this play, but again, it just boils down to maybe just a little bit of an inexperience on Fogbound's end. So we are going to be holding Blink over at the middle side of the map now, going into main. Nice line of sight breakage, but Thank You able to read it once more, and you can definitely see why they have picked the nurse. We're going to be taking the tag onto our Sable here. It's going to be running all the way down into corner 1, no, but running back into the map. They should have just maybe held W a little bit longer into even the hill or something. Even though there wasn't much distance to work with, we're going to be blinking all the way back down to the hook again. And we have spotted our Dwight, who just got the unhook onto Lemons. We're going to be running around the rock doing a nice little bit of jiggy, and we are just struggling at the moment to get on top of things on the side of the survivors here, Jams.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing it he or she, I should say, is playing it very, very nicely. This is an impressive performance. Actually, quite scary. If you're in group, I believe this is Group B. Very, very scary to see that. This is a team that you're going to have to go up against as well. Definitely going to have to ban the nurse in the future picks, and that's going to be hooked, I believe, on maybe another active, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, not really able to get too much done. We did see a reset onto Lemon in the background as well. I'm just going to call the bro Lemon. I hope he doesn't mind. Is sort of just, oh, we've ran into each other. Both there. Yo, I'm not too sure. Maybe a bit of miscommunications on the team behalf, but oh, you got a buller.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is just so dicey. It definitely was a mishap on the communication end side of things. I mean, to vault into the window straight into the loving embrace of your other survivor, the only of which is actually alive in the match. It just says that he never, maybe nobody ever said no, that, our Dwight's over in the corner there, don't go there. I don't really know what the plan was there, but Lemon trying to work this generator, playing a little bit aggressive, and that's the problem here, is that all the generators that are being worked are all very centralized towards the hook. So if you are to get another generator done, you need to get this unhooked somehow unscathed, and you need to be able to get out of this area. Look how tight these generators are. He's just able to go back and retreat to hook every single time that he applies pressure on a generator. Maybe drop this one on the side of Lemon and work something like 7, but then again, you don't really have anywhere to run to once the nurse blinks in your vicinity. Nevertheless, we'll be taking that quick tag onto our Ellen there and just going down after the second hit as well. And I do say this is looking like a 4K3, but again, you can pull it back to a 4K2 if you play this methodically. Now we are going for the pickup onto our Ellen here, and we're going to be hooking more centralized once more. And thank you's just putting on an absolutely dominant performance. And even though there's some mistakes on the survivors end, we can't really take away the fact that thank you's just playing out of his mind right now, hitting pretty much, I'm gonna say, like 90% of his blinks, if not more. So he's just definitely not making any rookie mistakes or rookie errors, and it's something you have to take into account when you're versing a nurse of this caliber. And you just it's really hard for these survivors to kind of play around that, and now our Sable being caught out for the unhook. But very smart play to be able to realize that you're in imminent danger and just kind of run away. You are injured, you're not getting that unhook, it would just be a trade, and you would just be sending Lemon into their ultimate demise. But that being said, Jay could just commit this generator over here and hope for the 4K2. So, but we do see now that Thank You has gone back and has realized that Jay's working this generator, and one blink back to the hook, and if they get the trade on time, it's just slap bang and the Sable's down on the floor. But a ping hit coming in on the side of Jay, unfortunately, would have caught him off guard, and now just trying to be running around the shack, and everybody injured at the moment. The mend effect coming onto our Ellen there too. Gonna be trying to run all the way down to corner 2. And we've done a little bit of jiggy. Lemon playing really good at the moment, running all the way down to corner 1. This could actually result in some gen progress, or are they gonna play a little bit safer and go for a reset? I think they're gonna go for generators at this point in time, as we see the Sable working a generator from start to finish at the moment. We're gonna be taking this down nice and deep, and this is 12 pocket on the side of Lemon. We're working 2 separate generators, so not the worst thing in the world, but everybody is injured, unfortunately. So once Thank You blinks to a generator, he's going to be able to just insta down someone, and that's just going to spell trouble for our survivors. And they're making so much noise, which is going to make him traverse so much easier. He's just going to be able to predict those blinks and just down the survivors' jumps.
Yeah, I mean, Fogbound definitely the fan favorites, but Thank You's definitely kind of not really too worried about any of that. He's kind of just come in and just said, I'll just have this served up on the plate for me. Stealth looked good. I thought the start looked good for the survivors on Fogbound. I thought they, the reset was good. Could have maybe traded with the unbreak, maybe there with unbreak overcome. I don't know. Maybe just keep the bro alive for a little bit. I don't know. Once you mess up a nurse set from the start, it's hard to get back. It's like dredge. Once you miss them, if you fumble the start, it's pretty hard to bring it back from that, unless the killer player makes insane mistakes in the 3v1. But no, overall, not the worst performance from the survivors. I think there was definitely some good things there. Lemon had a nice little couple jiggies, and I think it was just unfortunate that they got found off the rip. I think that was really just the main issue. I don't think the whole game is a good reflection because, as I said, I think once the first chase happens and the game's over, it's sort of just bound to fall apart, dude. So, nah, you know, we do see a stun onto a nurse there though. Plus points for that. That was pretty cheeky. And you know, try and get the hatch maybe. I don't know if Jay knows, but you know, he doesn't know the hatch spawns on this side.
He knows now. He knows now.
Is he gonna get it? I think he might get it.
Nah, he doesn't get that. It's a standoff. No, it's not. Okay, so we've got the prompt on the side of the killer, and that's going to be the 4K3. Oh, my lord. Okay, you know what? And it's, there's a lot of learning at the moment to be done on the side of Fogbound. I definitely applaud the giving it a go, especially against this killer 100%. They did play somewhat well, definitely for a team that's newer to the...
I think that was a very good representation from at least, you know, both teams at where they're at on Nurse. But as I said, Bulla, you know, Nurse is one set out of how many do we have killers in the pool? 24, 25? You know, there's still time to bring this home. And I believe in the Fogbound. And one thing to know, they do have probably the most support I've ever seen from a team in the Twitch chat from a long time, which is a bit crazy to me. So shout out to them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And now we're loading into the match, so we finally have the lineup as well. So yes, it is Phoenix on the killer for Fogbound, and for the survivor side of Pay Money to My Pain, it is Hades, it is Sentaya, and Apharain and Cindy. Okay, sorry if I'm butchering those names. Not very now. Phoenix taking the first blink over into the central side of the map, and we do see the little Jimmy to get a little bit of that extra further distance on the side of the nurse. You love to see it. The one blink coming in, so they're definitely experienced on the nurse. You can definitely tell with the way they're kind of scouring out the map at the moment, and just the one blinks they're taking to kind of see where these stealthing survivors are. So right off the rip, you know, not seeing any survivors crossing over. Or have we at the moment? I'm not too sure if we did. That would be very good eyes if you saw that. But no, we haven't. So they've played this stealth out very well on the side of Pay Money to My Pain. You know, you have the 2-2 split, which is pretty conventional. You have 2 over the side of 9, 2 over the side of 7. So they're playing this very slowly, not very fast at all. Phoenix going to play it safe and go back to the generators that are uncorrupted at the moment. So you do imagine that those 2 survivors are pressing that generator over at Shaq, and Phoenix is caught onto it as well. No, they have played this extra patiently, and we have gone all the way down into the basement on the side of our Jake. So that is immaculate right there to kind of just predict that was happening. We have spotted out our Nia, unfortunately, though. We're going to be using the Shack at the moment, and we're going to be dying nice and close to the Shack. And I do think we're opting to go for a little bit of a basement hook on the side of the survivors at the moment. So unfortunately, messing up the blinks a little bit there is on the side of Phoenix, and we are still taking the chase onto our Nia after rain, sorry, Apharain, sorry, I apologize, never mind. We are taking that down, and we're slugging at the moment. We know they're in the basement, and we're swinging at that too. How did he know? How did Phoenix know? And now we're dropping the pallet as well, and this is what you have to do. You have to play the slug game. You have to play the pressure game at the moment. You can't really afford to pick up. You need to get those tags, and you need to get them quick before those generators are being done. So we do have some generators over in the far background being progressed. I do believe it is over at 11 and 9, if I am not mistaken. And now we do have you know, the Jake just crouching over at this 2 side of the map, hoping not to be found, and we haven't found them at the moment, but we've gone all the way down to main and tried to swing at a generator that has nobody on it, but there is someone in the vicinity, and it is Hades who has pre-left this very nicely to be hiding on the back side of main as well, behind the rocks. And now Phoenix has decided to blink all the way in the middle of the map and go back to their slug, and I do believe that, yes, the survivor is still slugged here, so no pickup at the moment. The survivor's playing very slowly, very patiently. They know their win con is to be you know, it is a shallow one to meet, but at the same time, they have caught on to the fact that Phoenix is playing very aggressive. So, you know, all things considered, it definitely very well played by Phoenix at the moment to realize that they have to play aggressive, sorry, but also very well played to the survivors to realize, hey, this guy really wants this 4K5, 4K4. So, just looking at this generator here, we're going to be taking the kick onto this. The hook is nice and central into the map, and we've had no time wasted. No survivors on generators at the moment. We're playing a very, very passive at the moment, Jams. We're not really playing very aggressive. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I hate this, in all honesty.
I mean, they're playing. I think both sides are playing it very well. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still a little bit in awe from that little basement find that we found at the start of the game. That was quite, juicy to find. But I think we're going to be looking for after rain here off the hook, which I think I'm not too sure. I didn't catch if they were DS or not. I'd like to think with the way that Pay Money to My Pain started this set that definitely will be DS dead hard. It is DS dead hard with the alert. Very interesting choice on the nurse, maybe just for the gen kicks. Able to win that too. Great blink there from our killer player there. Beautiful. Our killer player for Fogbound able to actually. Oh! What about?
Wait, did we save it? Did we save it?
Yeah, he probably did. He probably did. Yeah, he probably did save it. If he didn't though, I would hate to be that guy though. I'll be so for real.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to tell. Very early days at 5 generators. Maybe didn't want to use the DS at the moment. You could just pray that they didn't miss it. I can't lie, the spectators being spectators every now and again, but we do have confirmation from the ref set that it was missed. So, oopsies, not good. We're going to be taking this tag onto the Nancy as well now, playing very territorial on the side of Phoenix. I'm loving to see this. Taking the kick onto the generator too, so that will be regressing in the background. Sydney broken at the moment, so I do believe there was an FTP of some sort there. We do have the Neo crouched over at this 7 rock here, but sniffing them out is Phoenix now blinking, and we've seen them? That's interesting. I'm not too sure that... Wow, okay, maybe we heard them. We've double blinked. Okay, cool. So, very interesting blinks there. I can't lie. Check him PC maybe? I don't know. It's a stretch, but... that was pretty well thought out and found, and that will be the death onto After Rain. I can't lie, Jams.
I mean, it's quite a, I wouldn't say early tunnel out per se, but it was very, very... I think they do have good gen pressure here. The weird part about it is now, the crazy part about it is though that... Sorry, I just caught something on my second monitor. And... yeah, no, it's quite a good tunnel out from Phoenix. I'm not. Correct me if I'm mistaken, Hunter. Is Phoenix on console? I didn't actually catch that.
I don't know. I actually have no clue. I didn't see any globe, anything of the sort in the lobby screen. I wasn't really paying attention to it. But from what I'm seeing, I don't think they're a console player. I do think they're a PC player. Taking this kick onto the generator now and blinking past the LNT all the way into the edge map. And we're just going to be trying to find those survivors. So this is definitely doable to make sure that we are able to reach this win con on the side of the killer. But if that is to happen, they have to get all downs now. And with the gen pressure happening in the background, and they're not able to really commit the chase on the ace at the moment, I do think they're maybe going to go back to their generators. If they commit this, I'm pretty sure this is just a Pay Money to My Pain win, I'll be honest. But still very well played by Phoenix. Phoenix playing very, very good at the moment. It's just unfortunate that they were given such a tall order. I mean, it was definitely doable from what we're seeing at the moment, and now we see the Jake running around the backside of main and the pop happening in the background. So we're at the Tycon as it stands at the moment. We need one more generator popped on the side of the survivors, and that will be the 4K2, the 4K2 as it stands for the win on the side of the survivors. And now we do manage to go around the water tower, and we have spotted... I thought we spotted someone out. I'm not too sure if that's just a little bit of hesitation on the survivors' end. I can't lie, but the nurse didn't see them blinking all the way down into the middle side of the map, and now we have our Jake here just using the LNT wall here. I'm not too sure about the window vaults against the nurse, but he is on a full health state, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Because once that sound notification happens, one blink and the nurse already kind of really knows your vicinity within the first one and can just adjust on the second. So, it's not really the best thing to be taking a window vault without life against a nurse, but hey, he's lasted a little bit longer in this edge map, and now we're just doing a little bit of edge map, Jiggy. I love to see it on the side of the survivors. Unfortunately, hitting the bricks is Phoenix, and just absolutely missing that blink as well. He's playing out of his mind, this Jake. I forgot how to say the name. Sontire. I want to say Sontire, but I don't want to mess up the name. Just having such a beautiful chase at the moment around this edge map over at 8 to 9. Sorry, going down on the wall as well. But you know, all things considered, bought enough time in a chase to get 2 generators popped. That's crazy.
Yeah, and like you said, Bullets. Like I said, I was trying to allude to earlier, it wasn't the earliest of tunnel lights. It kind of was. It was at 4 gens, but they did have decent pressure in the background, and they were able to convert on popping those extra gens in the background for that chase as well. And that is the Deliverance, I believe, Hunter. Unless that's going to be second win, I do believe that is Deliverance, and it is Deliverance beautifully. So this is really gonna. This is a really good spot for Fogbound, for Pay Money to My Pain. Although Fogbound are not completely out of this yet. The Killer are actually making quite good plays, and we're actually going to be able to get a really, really good down on top of the most progressed gen here, Hunter. Which honestly, it's going to be tough to 4K1 from this position, but this is definitely a great start. Definitely, he'll need to kick this gen at Shaq butt before he goes back.
Yeah, I mean, we're going all the way down to Shaq now, and we're going to be kicking the generator, so we do have a stealth Hades all the way over at the hook as well around the rock here, and just blinking, but seeing as well, we're actually to catch them out stealthing behind the rock, and just Hades able to really break away from that, and they're kind of zoned a little bit in the corner of Shaq here. Going to have to play around the corners is on the side of Phoenix, but I wonder if our injured survivors just kind of sticking that generator over at 10, but we do see the heal with the med kit coming in hot, but no generator progress in the background. As we hear that generator is probably only like not even 5% done. We're just going to be dry kicking it with eruption, going all the way back down to the unhook as well. So we see the Killer Instinct notification, or it's not the Killer Instinct one, it's the loud sound notification. I forget what it's called these days, but nevertheless, we do see Hades just kind of stealth behind this tree as well, not being able to be found. And I think there's this maybe on the side of the survivors as they're stealthing around these little short tiles, either it's their breathing or their like footsteps or just any sound they're making, or you know, maybe they're just like peeking out just that little bit to where, you know, Phoenix's reshades are making them definitely stand out a little bit more. But Phoenix is just really good at finding stealth out survivors. It gets so close to the point where I'm like, is Phoenix going to find them? Is Phoenix not going to find them? Is Phoenix going to find them? Is Phoenix not going to find them? But in the end, it's like, yeah, it's a 50-50. And you just know someone's around this Shack area too. So like very well played, very well thought out. So we're just playing very territorial amongst our generators. Going to be checking basement as well, but we don't really see any one in there because there is no one in there. And we do see the call of Brian Brock as well, the information it's giving out to the furthest generator over at 11, and I do believe that will be our Jake just slamming out Pistons, who's already pre-left and already gone all the way down to what seems to be all the way corner 10, and playing this edge map very nicely once more. It's not the Jake though, it's the Ace, so a little bit of Jiggy, a little bit of Nodders. Love to see it. He knows that he's kind of won that little mind game of have I stayed, have I left, and now vaulting with life into the Killer and playing this very nicely. Phoenix able to catch onto it, and the Jiggy coming in hot from our Ace here. We're going to be rotating all the way around Water Tower, maybe playing the fake game, but we've safety blinked and we've caught onto that very early. Very well done by Phoenix. Going to be still committing this chase, and the one blink coming in hot, but we're able to jiggy around the window now and playing around the Water Tower. This is absolutely incredible pathing on the side of our Ace here. Is going to be running all the way down to deep 11, but running back into the Killer, and the little quick 180 adjustment blink happening at the very last second is going to spell the down onto our Ace. but this will be the Jake getting the generator done in the background, and our Nancy Hades just slow vaulting the window, maybe going to be playing for that save. We're going to be playing this generator, and it does look like we're going to be getting outs here. We're going to double it just to be safe, and we're going to be splitting up gang and looking for clues straight off the rip. So I'm not too sure where Phoenix is because of the spectator bug, but we do see our little Jakey here hiding behind the log, so I do imagine somewhere around the shack, maybe checking on the gates or something. I didn't manage to get a good glimpse at where they are. This one seems to be around the 8 side, and I do say that maybe the other one is in pretty close proximity. I do apologize if I'm extremely wrong on that, but we've opted to go for the unhook since we've entirely left this our ace. We're going to be picking as well. It's still pretty hard to tell what's going on, but yeah, this will be a few stages out the door here, Jams.
No, that was really excellently played by Pay Money to my Pain Survivor team. Although I think Fogbound's killer also played very, very well. We had one sort of prediction blink down at that 9 side where he sort of got punished for, and was able to recover a couple seconds after. And I think our ace is going to be able to actually get Hatchy, which is quite generational if he's able to. And I don't see the Jake on the HUD leaving just yet. Hopefully he's able to skip it on out of there in a moment or two. He's still got like 5-10 seconds. Probably getting the comm from Cindy now. Just get the fuck out so I can get the hatch, bro. He's leaving. He's just gonna choose to break away from the shack and just head logs now. We've got no TR right now. We've got no TR. We don't actually know where the killer is. We're just running, and we've made it. We've made it.
We've made it. He's made it.
He's got a bit of a nod there, good on him. But no, I was going to say P100 on the nurse, by the way. Well played. Definitely a good showing from Fogbound's nurse.
Tower being a very rectangularly shaped map as well, as Torposa being a lot more thick and squared is going to result in, obviously, even amongst all the other maps, top-bottom flips as well. So once Chase is on top, you get hit down, flip the map, go to the next side of the map and do the generators on that side. Oni in power, trouble. The traversability is, I don't think it's the quickest in the game, but it is very quick. So, yeah, rule of thumb, just make sure he doesn't get power. Any tips on that, Chomps?
Oh, no, very well said, big man. Just touching back on what you said, you mentioned that this was your first ever killer scrim, learned the call-outs on this map, and that was exactly the same for me, big fella. I think we saw a booty sticking out there, did we? We did see a booty sticking out. Unfortunately, that's quite a big find off the rip for not emotionally there. I was actually going to mention before that I was spewing that we weren't going to be seeing Phoenix play the Oni, but I think you mentioned that not emotionally is quite actually good micro speaking on the Oni, and obviously getting that first hit there, able to spot out, I believe that was Cindy very early on, one of the quickest tags on Oni I've ever seen. But moving back to what I was saying, yeah, this was one of the first maps I ever learned the call outs for as well. And you can imagine a young Jarms, a young Sizz. And we're getting caught out at the main building here. Hit right through that pallet as well. We're gonna get a double M1 down, but yeah, you can imagine a young Jarms, a young Sizz, a young Mark was here, scrimming with a young Andrew Loops, and we're scrimming Mayo's Oni, or should I say Cash's Oni at the time, and we're having good back and forths. There was 4Ks, there was 5 stages, and yeah, that was one of the better experiences of me learning, comp and getting into it, and that was probably a good reason as to why I'm very happy that it's back on this. Obviously, I didn't really have much say in the balancing for this season, but I'm very happy to see that he's back on Cold Tower. It does warm my heart very heavily.
Likewise, and as we take the kick onto that generator via Eruption, we're going to be going on a little bit of gen patrol over at the bottom side of the map now, popping power. Have we seen anyone healthy? I do believe we have at the moment, otherwise why would you pop power? We have seen our Nancy here, and we're opting to look for them edge map, but oh my god, the quick and quiet head on. There's no way they actually get this, and if they get this, oh my god, they do it on ping! That's absolutely crazy, and in power. Now, how are you going to make distance from this? Where do you go? Gonna have to do a little bit of jiggy corner text, but we're being red. And that is what I was saying about the micro of this killer, is that not emotional is just locked in. I just can't say it any better at the moment. I mean, a down straight off the rip over at the main tile as well to break the door and catch the ace off guard. as we're rotating through the backside to downing someone on the other side, and not a single gen pop, and we had Eruption procced in the background. We just got the pop goes the weasel on that generator over at 5-2, so the gen pressure's looking pretty rough at the moment. So not emotionally stable is a Sable. Oh, okay, so we just call this person Sable or emotionally? I'm not too sure, but I'll just use the full name for the moment. So our Oni's going to be going all the way down to the top side and trying to go on a little bit more gen patrol. We don't have anybody injured at the moment, and our power is halfway done. So there's no blood orbs on the map. So this is something to be taking into note, and definitely a good thing in the sight of our survivors. So we're just going to be maybe trying to find someone just kind of out in the open, but I don't think they'll really allow that to happen. They're all kind of stealth at the moment, over at 11, just really struggling at the moment. The Caller Brine coming in as well on that gen over at 5. We do see the scratch marks as well. It is another head-on locker play, and we've tried to read it, but we've got it again. It done it to them a second time. We've re-released the second album. That's absolutely crazy. Pre-dropping the pallet in the process, running all the way down to the 7 side of the map, where there is a couple of fillers and nice ones to work with here. Still in the M1 state, not really able to get the power at the moment, but I do say we're pretty close, and yes, we have got it in our repertoire at the moment. Now, are we going to continue this chase via the M1? The pallet breaks coming in as well, so there's not... I didn't think there was any brutal strength or ban. If I do remember correctly, the build was Corrupt Intervention, Pop Goes the Weasel, Eruption, and I don't know if I said Caller Brine, but nevertheless, there is no comfort perks, like you said, Jarms, like when we were talking about this a little bit later, beforehand, whatever. We're going to take that down onto our Nancy there, and we're going to go all the way down to the top side of the map where there is a generator being worked here, and someone over in a locker again. Everyone in lockers, get in lockers team. Make sure not to get found by the Oni, stealth them out, and yeah, we've caught on to that. I mean, like, look, at this point, you just know to look there if you just see no survivors in the vicinity, and if there's nothing edge map, it's just natural to kind of look through the lockers as an Oni. So we're taking that hook straight off the bat. This is looking bad for our survivors here.
I mean, I don't mean to tip my fedora metaphorically to you, big man, but this is sort of what I was saying on the nurse side. I don't think you can count out Fogbound just that it's like they have a lot of promise on this team. I don't think a nurse set really is a good justification as to, you know, show their skill level, but they're 2 killer players today. Wow, they have been playing super high level, and it's great to see that they're able to, they played a pretty average survival result, and doesn't really, I don't mean to be cliche, but define them in a sense. They're willing to just put their head down and just lock in, and even the bro last set just locked in, had a good result overall, and it was good to see. And even this bro now, not emotional. He's he or she is actually so not bring a chase perk on Cold Tower Oni. It's something I don't think I've ever seen the best Onis do. Definitely take advantage of that new balancing though, for sure. But I mean, it's working well for him. It's working well, definitely. I mean, the pop cob eruption, it's kind of a maybe the hidden meta of season 4. Who knows?
Just really begs the question: do you need those comfort perks in your build if you're real? Well, not really. If you get, I think, because giving away the first tag very early was like not really the best thing for our survivors, and then just being caught out over in the main side of the building, and then giving up the tag the next time as well over when we were doing the head-on shenanigans, and yeah, just camping this death as well. This player seems to be pretty well experienced. I can't lie. The micro decisions, we got a death of 4 gens. Like, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this if not emotionally stable has played a tournament before. But picking up the blood orbs over around the shack now, and we got power in hand, 3 gens remaining and 3 survivors remaining at the moment. We're heading to the direction of 4K1. Typically, if the survivors play their cards right, you can't get outs from this. Extremely hard. You need to make sure you're resetting in power and not getting found straight off the rip like we are here. But Yeah, this is not good.
Oh,
We've hit the wall, unfortunately. That could have been a nasty flick on the side of our Oni. We've got nothing really to work with here. So are we going to continue this chase on our Neon? We are. We're going to be hitting through the barrel. That's disgusting. A little bit of ping there involved, and you can definitely see it on our screen because there is absolutely no way that was hitting from our end. But still a very nice flick from the side of our killer here. And just we've gotten back on the gens on the side of our survivors to make sure that we're getting at least one more generator proc. And with that down, Jams, I think maybe we might even be heading towards 4K2 territory. But hooking our near there, we're going to be, again, going to Gen Patrol over at 5. And I do think there was someone in this vicinity. Now, have they hopped the locker again? Who knows? But we're taking the kick and we've opted to go and hide in this seawall over nearby shack, and we're just looking around. We've looked in the locker once more and we haven't found our our survivor there. But we've opted to go all the way down into basement, and that would be miraculous if they were to find that. I got a little bit scared there hearing the TR get so close, but it just turns out that the wall was so close to basement, if you will, and the Oni was very close to the wall next to where the survivor had been hooked. And you know, we're sitting pretty comfortably here. I think we're not really too concerned at losing one generator in the background, and the game's very stagnant at the moment. It is progressing, but it's progressing at a very slow rate at the moment. It's probably like it is definitely in the survivor's best interest to be working 12, as it is the furthest generator from the hook. You know, the Oni doesn't have power. There's not much blood on the map since they have been resetting and playing a little bit more slower, if you will. But this will be the second stage hit onto our Neon. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually just let the Neo full die and try and commit another generator. But look at those 3 gens, Jams. My God, over at the bottom side.
I mean, yeah. Like I said, he's in a prime time position right now. He's really set his team up. Sorry, he's really set his team up for a good, I guess you could say, survival win con to meet. You know, to have the luxury, the privilege of only being able to just we're getting one single stage out the door, or even perhaps even just popping, you know, 5 gens, you know, popping all gens. It's such a good thing to be able to, you know, have in the back of your mind and give you that reassurance that, oh, you know, we don't even have to play the last half of this game. All we have to do is just pop the gens, and then we can just AFK and we win. You know what I mean? Obviously, you wouldn't do that for the, you know, spirit of the game. But honestly, the point I'm trying to make is it's very good knowing that you have a good killer like and not emotional is right now on the Oni. Does seem very confident as well, and is playing it beautifully. We've got a hook inside the 3 gen. We're pressuring Cindy off this gen over here at 5. He's not going to be able to sit this for free. Excuse me. And I'm not too really sure what the other bro's doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really rough at the moment to really judge what their next move is, or even what they're really, what they can do. So, you know, we definitely we're gonna have to have a long chase here over at the main tile, and we're just gonna be vaulting that window. But you know, the window's broken, but the pallet hasn't been thrown, so we can throw that, and it's gonna delay a little bit. But we've got power now. That is just mighty unfortunate that we found like the reset spot over at main, and we're gonna be playing check spots on the side of our Jake, and we have committed to him. We have not gone for that swing. We could have got a little bit of a ping hit there, but we're playing check spots, and the movement on this Oni is actually quite impressive, to say the least. And, you know, it's just like a certain amount of time until, you know, our Jake player goes down. And 4K2 at the moment, it's looking pretty serious. So we have spotted out that last survivor of the ace. And yes, you have been found, Mr. Sir. You're going to have to loop for your life. And I don't think we have a lot more left on the Oni power, but well, we're able to still get the flicker around the window, and that will be that. So 4K2, you know, something that we kind of expected amongst the result that we were seeing earlier. Unfortunately, getting found out throughout their 3v1 and just didn't really let the survivors get through to pulling it back to a 4K1. But nevertheless, it is a tall order for our killer to meet this win con. Can they pull off the 4K3? Not impossible. But look, I'm really impressed by the killers that are on Fogbound right now. They're playing out of their mind. It's just, you know, really great to see, because like usually it's the complete opposite with newer teams that come into OSL. We're usually seeing like the survivor teams being out of their minds, and then they're struggling on the killer performances. But like I said, you know, maybe the survivor team will be very well experienced in the M1 Oni sets, and maybe we can see a different result to what we had seen on the Nerf.
Put it in. Oh, bro, I just hate this weapon, bro. Okay, so this is like, everyone says this weapon's super, super sexy, but I just think this is the ugliest weapon in the whole game. I can't lie, bro. I'll be so for real.
It's just so ugly. I hated it as well. So I saw it like in the item shop, and it looks so much better than what it actually is in game. And I think it's just the direction that it's pointing. It's trying to show a lot more of the weapon, but it just ends up looking so bad. But we're taking the quick tag onto Jay at the moment, who will be taking chase all the way down to Shaq, utilizing that life in the quick tag nonetheless as well. So quite a similar start, only we're on the other side of the map at a much very stronger loop as to oppose of main. We do have Shaq Pallet at our disposal, but we're opting to greet it. But once we go on the inside, we're kind of a little bit zoned. He's just going to kick it straight off the rip. And I don't know if we've bought a comfort perk, and we're getting a little bit mind games, but yeah, we're just lucky we didn't come along the backside there. We have caught out somebody in a locket that was setting up Vandal. That's absolutely crazy. He must have heard them. He must have heard them as soon as they hop locker amongst the first chase or somewhere in between where we didn't see it. But my God, very good ears and very good awareness of our Oni. Maybe they saw them like amongst the window when mind gaming. I have no idea, but yeah, this is not a very good start for our survivors at the moment. But this is something that you need if you're on the side of the killer, and we have power in hand, and we have a damaged survivor as well. So all it takes is one snowball, and we're looking at a 4K4 to a 4K5 jumps. It is definitely doable. And something to note from last game as to oppose of this game is I would value 2 tags amongst a first down, but we have a tag and a down in what seems to be either the same amount of time or potentially even earlier. So, I mean, yeah, just very dire stuff for our survivors, but we do have adequate gen pressure in the background. We probably are going to be seeing one pop, and I don't agree with this very passive play at the moment. You need to be playing much more aggressive than this. This means a pop and just trying to force the error out of the survivors, but we do have generators in the background being progressed, and I do think that's one all the way over at the one corner or something of the likes of that. But yeah, we're just playing a lot more territorial and we're just trying to force second onto our survivor as the first generator proxy is over at 11. So I was incorrect, but look, it's very stagnant. It's just, I bet anybody's just stealthing around for that last pull, but we have seen someone over at 9, and I do think it's a little too late for stealthing here, but we're gonna have to play the sprint burst, and we've opted to go for someone completely different, and even that caught me off guard. There is still somebody on the hook. We can still get the downs here. If we saw somebody over at 9 and get the quick slug, do we have Fang? We don't have Fang. We don't have duration add-ons. Okay, that could hurt us in the long run because we don't have the extra 10 seconds to go all the way the other side of the map. No, this is doable. This is completely doable for the side of our killer here. He's going to have to try and catch out the Nancy going for the unhook here. Does he know that they're over on the other side of the map over at 3? This is going to take this is going to take a massive pullback from our survivor here. This is going to be the death onto the hook survivor. That's 110% guaranteed unless we just completely fumble the bag on the side of the killer here. I just don't see any world where we don't manage to kill this survivor on the hook. And yeah, things have gone from dicey to extremely bad here, Jarms. I cannot lie.
Oh, if you're not emotional, you've just got your head in your hands and you're thinking, oh, why did we play it so fast? All we needed to do was just not take the start that pay money to my pain had, and we did. We had the exact same start, if not a worse start, which is just, it's just so tough to see. But we are gonna get the death onto something as Toy, quite a creative name. We're gonna get a reset on the edge map here, so he will be able to sniff that, he being our killer player. I believe it is, I actually can't see the name from the top there. Very, very bit ratey, but assuming he's locked in, he's got a kill at 4, so very impressive. He also has a hook with power ready to go. Also does, look at him, he knows where the reset's happening too. He sniffed it out. He goes, what do you reckon they're resetting? Deep 5, you reckon over there? He knows, mate. He knows. He's going to look there as well, and he's going to look for the blood. When he finds the blood, he's going to think to himself, fuck, I'm just that good.
Yeah, definitely. He is sniffing out for that blood right now, sniffing out for that reset, and you know, the survivors done really well to actually come back from what seemed to be like the last dying seconds of the game as it had stood in that point in time. But we've opted to go and split the pressure as well. We see the Nancy over at, I do believe that is over in the 5 corner, and we're going to rotate to the shack as we do hear the Terror Radius approaching quite quickly, and we do see the unhook happen. We do have the window at our disposal, and we're going to be vaulting that all the way into deep main, but opting to go on the side over to 1, and if we don't get this down quick, we might have lost our 4k4. We have downed the Survivor over at the pallet here, and we're going to be looking for the next one, the unhooked Survivor, which will be the Ellen. And oh, we are playing this extremely dangerously. We haven't made any distance at all. We're playing the window of main. Are we using the check spots? Are we running? Are we staying? Who knows? But we've opted to go for a little bit of a really early fake on this L wall. We're going to be trying to go for a quick flick on the side of our Oni here, and this is looking pretty dangerous. He's opted to play a little bit more safe, and the power has ran out, and that's just the unfortunate thing about bringing Hull, and I do believe he bought Crutch. So Crutch is a must, you know, turns 50-50s into something that like is almost completely unwinnable by the survivors if you are, you know, fairly experienced in the Oni. So that's always going to be brought. But then you will see just other Onis either bring Hull, which will just drop the blood faster, or they bring Duration, which is just an extra 10 seconds. And when the extra 10 seconds doesn't happen, like it can just sometimes like hurt your slug game is what I'm trying to say. So you have seen other Onis in previous events bring Hull and Fang, but I'm not really the biggest fan on that. Nevertheless, the other generator procking in the background, so we're sitting at, I do believe, still the win con, you know, by 1 generator as it stands. Yeah, just it's really rough stuff here for the survivors, but they definitely can still pull it back to a tie. I still believe this is heading towards more in the direction of a 4k2, 4k1. That just for the sheer fact that, oh wait, no, both aren't healthy, so you know, Lemon in a pretty bad position at the moment, just leaking blood all over the place, as we do have the last survivor hooked in what seems to be a 3-gen on top side. You do have 1 main and mid, so just depending where that 4th generator is, it's over at 7, and he does have 1 9, so they are pretty fast spread. You can still work those bottom generators whilst these survivors are on the top side chasing, or vice versa, and we do commit chase onto our Dwight here, who's going to be taking chase all the way down to the 9 side, utilizing that life and making the God filler, but we're going to be popping power instantly as we find just that little bit extra blood that we needed. We're going to be trying to find somebody on a generator. Now, this is the part where you got to pre-leave, you got to stealth, you can't get caught out here, and you know, unfortunately, that's what Lemons has done, but we've hop blocker, so we've gotten rid of the Oni power, so we can only hope that there's no blood on the map to really allow the Oni to get the blood back again. Get power back again, sorry. So, but I just don't think that's the case. I think there's enough blood there to get the power back, and we're taking the kick onto the generator just sitting outside of 6. And are we going to find the reset? I'm not too sure, but this is looking still pretty rough, Jarms.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point it would have just been better to get slugged, so the power would have ticked down a little bit more. As you know, when you get it down in Oni power, the power gauge ticks down just that little bit more. Yeah, kind of forced to pull like 75% of the power, which meant that, you know, was able to pick up that blood that they left that 5 edge. Even just, you know, I think Jay's been injured most of the match. We are going to see the down come on to Ghosty was up, and yeah, I know this is where it gets scary, because, you know, this is where he can win, and now we've been caught. That's going to be the win to pay money to my pain in such abrupt fashion. How has he done that?
It's just unfortunate for the side of our survivors. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the laboratory going out of this match today, out of this series today for them. But, you know, you still got to applaud them for getting in and giving it a good old try at 100%. You know, you definitely can't take away from Santoya's performance on the Oni as well. You have to give credit where credit is due, just able to really capitalize on a lot of mistakes. Just still so many instances where they played a little too passive, where the survivors could have capitalized, but just not able to really facilitate the pressure enough to get the win condition met on the side of them. So again, very well played to pay money to my pain as we sign out for that. But that being said, I do have some very unfortunate news, at least on the side of me. I will not be casting the rest of the games, unfortunately. You will have Sir Smonk alongside Jarms. Jarms will be here for what seems to be the whole night. that is yet to be discussed as we go in late. But it has been very fun watching these games, a blast, if you will, through the first series to the second series. But yeah, I will see you guys in the Twitch chat. I'll still be around. I hope you all enjoyed this early start so far. We are only not even halfway into the stream yet, and what seems to be usually this is like we're heading towards maybe one series into it, well, one series left to go, and then it's just the end. But we're in for a big one, and we're in for a big one tomorrow. So we hope you enjoyed this. Obviously, we enjoy your feedback, and please let us know. I will see you next time. We are going into a quick and short break, and we will be back. Do not go anywhere.